Hello and welcome to another edition of Focus on Morris County. I'm Joe Garifo, Public Information Director for the Morris County Government. Focus on Morris County is a program that's designed to keep us up to date on the actions that are being taken by the Morris County Board of Freeholders. The show is also intended to make us all more aware of the many facets of Morris County government. Now, on this segment of the program, we are going to learn about a county-wide campaign which is called Parents Who Host Lose the Most. And here to tell us about that campaign and its purpose are my guests. First, to my left is Beth Jacobson. Beth is Addictions Coordinator in the Morris County Department of Human Services. And seated next to Beth is Steve Nebesny. Steve is Morris County Municipal Alliance Coordinator, also within the county's Department of Human Services. Steve, Beth, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. Steve, I want to begin with you. I mentioned that you're the Municipal Alliance Coordinator. What exactly is or are municipal alliances?
A municipal alliance is a local grassroots volunteer organization that plan and organize prevention programs within the county and in the community.
Prevention, substance abuse prevention program?
Prevention of substance abuse, alcohol, drugs, tobacco.
How many of these alliances are there in the county?
There are 29 municipal alliances, and they represent 34 towns.
So I guess some of the towns kind of cooperate with each other, or they have joint alliances?
Correct.
Can you give us some examples of programs that the alliances sponsor that we may be familiar with or that we may have heard of?
Some of the alliances, they sponsor Project Graduation, DARE, peer leadership groups, teen centers for high school kids and middle school kids, parent education programs for parents, mock trials, and the Parents Who Host Lose the Most campaign as well.
Okay, and we'll talk about that campaign in just a minute, but Beth, I want to turn to you. If I'm not mistaken, you were once a Municipal Alliance coordinator.
Yes.
You are now Addictions Services Administrator.
Yes.
What exactly is that? What is Addiction Services?
As the Addiction Services Administrator, I oversee grants from both the county and the state that fund substance abuse treatment and prevention programs for our Morris County residents. I work closely with the providers to meet the needs of our county residents. And what we do in Morris County is we fund the full continuum of care, which means we fund programs from substance abuse education and prevention to treatment, outpatient programs, or even inpatient rehabilitation services.
And I would imagine these services for all ages, all age groups in the county?
Yes, from adolescents to adults, yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay, now I mentioned at the beginning of the program that there is a county-wide campaign which is underway, and the campaign is called Parents Who Host Lose the Most. Beth, what is this campaign all about?
The Parents Who Host Lose the Most campaign is an initiative that actually began out of Ohio back in 2000. Since then, it's been replicated in all 50 states and I believe Puerto Rico and the U.S. Virgin Islands. The message of the campaign is a universal one. Basically, it's illegal, it's unsafe, and it's unhealthy for anyone under 21 to drink. What the campaign aims to do is educate parents about the health and safety risks associated with hosting teen parties. And it increases awareness for parents of the state underage drinking laws and compliance with those.
Okay. Who is sponsoring this campaign, Beth?
It is being sponsored. It's a community-wide prevention effort. So we really have a lot of different partners in it. It's being spearheaded by the Morris County Prevention is Key, which is a main prevention agency in Morris County. They have a community coalition for a safe and healthy Morris, and that's what they're doing this campaign through. They're partnering with the Department of Human Services, the Morris County Partners in Substance Abuse Prevention, the Sheriff's Office, the Park Police, the Prosecutor's Office, and St. Clair's Hospital is also partnering with us. In addition, the Board of Chosen Freeholders is issuing a proclamation in support of this at their freeholder meeting on May 11th.
Okay. Steve, I want to turn to you. How serious a problem is underage drinking? Maybe not necessarily in Morris County, but are there any, national statistics or anything like that you can kind of put this in perspective?
Yeah, Joe. The problem is very serious in New Jersey specifically. According to the National Council on Alcohol and Drug Dependence, about 80% of high school students have reported using alcohol at one point, and about 50% of high school students report using alcohol in the last 30 days.
The consequences for a young person, someone under the age of, here in New Jersey, of 21, of drinking, what are some of those?
Minors could face a gamut of problems. They could face fines. They could have their driving privileges postponed till they're older, as well as community service hours imposed on them. And also, according to statistics, about 50% of all teen-related car accidents are alcohol-related, and about 65% of all sexual assaults for teens and college students are alcohol-related.
And those statistics and those incidents that you just mentioned, they really don't even get into potential long-term
Exactly.
consequences of drinking, such as addiction to alcohol.
Right. Yes, definitely.
The consequences for adults, and again here I guess we're talking about legal consequences for adults who ignore the campaign, Parents Who Host Lose the Most, and do serve alcohol to underage individuals. What are those consequences, Steve?
Well, parents, they could face, again, a gamut of consequences depending on the situation. It could range from civil litigation, which usually occurs, and they could lose their home, their cars, money. But as well, if there is a major crime that was committed, in relation to the alcohol they were serving, they could face criminal charges as well.
Beth, let's say your son or daughter wants to throw a party. Mm-hmm. What can you as a parent do to, first of all, make sure that the guests at this party, underage guests, mm-hmm. are safe, and also perhaps allay the fears of parents of those children who will be attending the party? Right. Let them know that everything is going to be on the up and up. We're not going to be serving alcohol. What can a parent do?
I think, well, first off, I think it needs to be clear that there will be no alcohol, tobacco, or drugs permitted at the party. Also, it's a good idea to put your number on the invitation so that parents are welcome to, other parents that the kids are coming to the party are welcome to give you a call. One of the things that should be avoided is sending email invitations, because that can be forwarded to a whole host of people and too many people will have information about the party. When the kids come to the party, they have to know that if they're going to leave, they can't come back. The most important thing really is for parents to talk to their kids about the consequences of underage drinking and using drugs and alcohol, and to set and communicate clear expectations with their children.
Yeah, I never thought about the email invitations, because that would open the party up to uninvited guests.
You don't know whose hands that information is going to get into.
Yeah, so, interesting. Yeah. Okay. Now, on the other hand, if your child has been invited to a party, mm-hmm. as a parent, what are some of the things that you may want to do to make sure that the host's parents are going to be doing the same thing that you would do?
Well, I think the most important thing is to call the parent. Call the parent who's hosting the party, confirm that there's going to be appropriate supervision and that there won't be any alcohol. Parents need to be on the same page. So you need to talk to other parents and make sure that these parents are ones that are against underage drinking and won't be serving alcohol, and even how the kids are getting to and from the party. And lastly, it's important to always tell your child that they can call you if they need a ride, if they need help, or another trusted adult, so that they don't get into a situation where they're going to be in trouble.
Yeah, so even if you're risking embarrassing your child
by
calling the other parent, that's something you should do.
And you can be rest assured that your child is not going to want you to call. So.
Steve, back again to the theme, Parents Who Host Lose the Most. What are some of the ways that the message that we've just been talking about is going to be put across by this campaign?
Well, the municipal alliances have really stepped up in this effort. They're going to be in their communities handing out brochures. They're going to be giving stickers to pizza parlors to put on boxes, and the participating pizzerias will be acknowledged in the local papers. As well as they're going to be displaying lawn signs, which everyone sees on the side of the road, as well as roadside banners all around Morris County. So we're really going to try to get this campaign in everyone's face, so there's no excuse why parents don't know.
Yeah, and this is really a campaign that should really be in effect all year round, you would think, because granted, in the springtime we have graduations and we have proms, but then you have the summer and you have, maybe pool parties or parties at home, and then you come into the fall and there are parties or gatherings perhaps after sporting events.
Right.
So this is really a campaign that I would assume you want to etch into everyone's mind throughout the year.
Yes, yeah, we're concentrating on a specific time period,
Yeah.
but it really is something that should be continuous. So.
Okay. Steve, I want to ask you, if someone wanted more information about the campaign, Parents Who Host Lose the Most, if they wanted more information about municipal alliances, give us your contact information.
Yeah, my phone number is 973-285-6860. Feel free to give me a call, and I'll be happy to help you out as best I can.
And they can email you as well?
Email, yes. It's snebesny, SNEBESNI, @co.morris.nj.us.
Okay. And Beth, I'm going to ask you the same question. If someone wanted information about some of the addictions services that your office is responsible for, how can they reach out to you?
My phone number is 973-285-6867, and my email is bjacobson, BJACOBSON, @co.morris.nj.us.
Okay. Beth Jacobson and Steve Nebesny, I want to thank you both very much for being with us today and enlightening us about the campaign that is underway, Parents Who Host Lose the Most. Now, if you have a question about Morris County government that you would like to have answered, you can call the Morris County Freeholders Office at 973-285-6010. You may also visit us on the web at morriscountynj.gov, and once you're on the website, you can sign up for our electronic newsletter, which is Morris Connections, and you can also visit the various social media that the freeholders are involved with. There's Facebook and Twitter and YouTube and Scribd, and you can also check out some county government photos on Flickr. I'm Joe Garifo. Thank you very much for being with us. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Hello, I'm John Pecoraro, surrogate of Morris County. If a loved one passes away and you need to transfer property to their heirs, you must come to the surrogate's court. This is true even if the deceased did not have a will. This process is known as probate. Now, probate in New Jersey is not overly complicated, and my staff is available to assist you. If you have any questions, please call my office at 973-285-6500 or visit our website at morrissurrogate.com.
Welcome back to Focus on Morris County. I'm Joe Garifo, and I am joined on this segment of the program by David Helmer. Dave is the Executive Director of the Morris County Park Commission, and we're going to be learning about some of the things that have been going on in the county park system. There's always something going on in our county parks, but first, Dave, before we get to the specifics, I want to thank you for joining us today and ask you if you would just give us a brief overview of the Morris County Park system.
Sure, thank you for the invitation once again. Morris County Park Commission, we're stewards to about 18,691 acres of open space, cultural facilities, historic sites, recreation areas, including 4 golf courses, 4 nationally registered and state registered historic sites, a national landmark and historic speedwell. We have Been in Sports Arena, a 3-sheet ice skating facility, about 160 miles of multi-purpose trails, something for everyone, educational programs and recreational programs alike. We are the largest regional park system in New Jersey based upon land mass. We have 38 distinct facilities throughout the entire county.
One of those facilities is Central Park of Morris County. Central Park of Morris County is in Parsippany. At one point, it was part of some land that was owned by the state at Greystone State Psychiatric Hospital. That property became excess, and the county government purchased it. Central Park of Morris County, David, what are some of the facilities that are included there?
It's a wonderful evolving park. It is a 300-acre tract of land, which was part of the original 631 acres. And over the last 4 to 5 years, the structures that have been on the property have either been demolished or planned to be renovated for nonprofit purposes. But from the recreational component, the property has what we call a Challenger League field. It's a rubberized baseball, softball field with lights. Designed for those who are not as fleet of foot, I'd like to say, but specifically designed for ADA purposes, for wheelchair-bound individuals. But has also been used lately. There's a resurgence in kickball for adults, and they can play at night under the lights. And we do have a pretty strong group of both children and adults who are wheelchair-bound that have an organized baseball programs. Also on the facility are 2 inline roller skating rinks. We had those constructed at that location because this property is about 1.5 miles down the road from Men in Sports Arena, and the idea was when coaches would have kids on the ice, they skate for about an hour, and then they'd be able to do land drills. But it's even moved past that. We now have 2 local roller derby women's groups that practice there during the week. We have a group, once again, of individuals who are wheelchair-bound, paraplegic children who play what they call power soccer. And they have big bumpers on the front of their electric wheelchairs with a 3-foot diameter soccer ball, and they play soccer. There's also a 5K cross-country course, which is now the home to the Lakeland Junior Cross Country Association. They race 1 weekend day in the fall. About 700 athletes from the ages of 6 up to 17. They race in different flights. And I believe just this past year, the Morris County High School Cross Country Association, who used to race predominantly over at Nabisco campus, has now made the property their home. So it's a great developing facility. Most of the Park Commission's 18,000 plus acres, a large percentage were donated. And this is a park now we're starting to put our own message on it, and it is truly other than the golf courses and the ice skating arena, a very active recreational facility, and that's what it's being developed for.
You mentioned that it's a developing park. Does that mean that there are plans for perhaps other facilities or amenities at Central Park of Morris County?
There are, that's correct. We have now plans that we hope to see the construction beginning in late August or September of 2012 will be 4 AstroTurf rectangular athletic fields with lights, a 1.1 mile paved walkway which will be using the existing sidewalk and road network that the hospital used, so it's not a new invasion into the area. And what's interesting about this, there's a collaborative approach here that a number of the local municipalities as well as 1 or 2 of the local nonprofit soccer clubs also are contributing funds towards this project. So it's not solely on the county taxpayer dollar.
Yeah. You also mentioned when you were giving us an overview of the park system, the golf courses. The county has 4 golf courses, Berkshire Valley, Flanders Valley, Pinchbrook, and Sunset Valley. Now, one of those, I understand, Berkshire Valley, the Park Commission recently decided to have a private administrator operate the golf course. Why was that decision made?
That's correct. The decision was made, the bigger picture of public entities and being able to control our operating expenses. A lot of those operating expenses are on the personnel side. Golf being a seasonal activity, we were looking to evolve not only at Berkshire Valley but also at the rest of the golf courses a better business approach to running the operation. Berkshire had the viability of bringing in an outside management company because it's our newest facility and because there's very little infrastructural capital needs between now and possibly the next 10 years, which allows for a greater rate of return on what that outside management company can do. Where some of our other golf courses that somebody coming in and running it's going to start to say, well, you need a new irrigation system, you need a new clubhouse, that detracts from your revenue potential. So Billy Casper Golf, nationally known golf course management company, have about 130 facilities in the U.S., about 25 on the East Coast, and they also manage about 25 municipal or public access golf courses. Through an RFP process, we had 5 entities submit. another large firm, actually an international and national firm, Kemper Sports, which runs golf courses internationally, also submitted proposals. And what we really looked at is, can somebody coming in reduce our operating costs, number one, and what potential to grow the game? And I'm pleased to say that the return we'll be getting from this outside management company basically is the cost of the pension and health benefits, which said to the Park Commission, we're really operating these facilities well, but having an outside entity will be able to market and increase rounds of golf.
Okay. And we should note that the golf course itself is still owned by the county. It has not been sold. It's just a private company that is running it on a day-to-day basis.
That's correct.
Yeah.
The golfer will only see maybe a different shirt color.
Okay.
The same online tee time system, the same process, but they'll get I think a more marketable product that in our sector we couldn't do as well. They're going to reach out and bring in new golfers.
Now, you also mentioned the Menin Sports Arena. The Menin Arena, one of the county park facilities, was one of the original participants in the Morris County Improvement Authority's solar energy project, the first phase of the solar energy project known as the Morris model. Specifically, how did the Menin Sports Arena participate in this project?
It was a great initiative. The Park Commission took a look at solar for use at that site a number of years ago, and it wasn't economically feasible. On the property, on all three rinks, and there are carport solar panels on the property, we have a 1.7 megawatt system. The arena itself consumes about 5 million megawatts. So the benefit of the solar initiative is that we have a flat rate that we pay per kilowatt hour through a PPA that we always hope is less than what JCP&L is charging us, and have been able to reduce our operating expense annually now by about $35,000. But that's just a layer of what this project did for us. In order to put panels on the rooftops, the arena is 30 plus years old. Each rink was built at a different time. We had to put on a new roof, and we had the ability now to put on a new energy efficient roof. And so through that process, we've reduced our natural gas consumption by 13% annually, which is a hard dollar, as well as we've reduced our consumption from 6.5 million kilowatts a year now to 4.5 million kilowatts a year, about a $200,000 savings a year in electric consumption. So we're real proud. It's at a facility where a lot of young people, about 1.5 million people all over the region travel. So it's a real iconic location to see carports in New Jersey.
And I would imagine, you mentioned a lot of young people coming to the arena. I would imagine it's also an educational tool as well, where folks coming can actually see how these solar panels are working and saving energy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's a kiosk in the lobby of the arena where you can actually, it'll tell you how many cars you're taking off the road. It actually shows you the energy coming in from the panel through a digital screen. And that's the layers of education and responsibility. The system will never be able to handle all of our needs because we'd have to have another 10 acres, but it's about layering conservation practices, because this project also made staff take a look at themselves. Turning off a light switch in a facility with over 200 fixtures means a lot, and that is a savings unto itself, and it's the same thing we can take back home. Just walking out the door and not keeping the light on or the TV on, it adds up.
The Morris County Park Commission recently began selling gift cards. Any specific denominations? What are the gift cards able to be used for? And how did this idea come about?
Well, the idea kind of germinated from a convenience card as opposed to a gift card. The idea was at the golf courses, you have a gift card where friends or family will give somebody a gift for their holiday or a birthday party. But then the card can also be used to be drawn down on, and the increments can be any increment. We try to keep it in 25, 50, 100, and 200. But it's a tracking mechanism so that people don't have to have cash on hand. Well, we took that to the next step at Menin Arena, where you have a lot of young people going, and many times they're there on their own for an hour or so, and we've got a snack bar, you have games, and this would allow a parent to give the child not money, but draw down a card and control that. You have locker rooms where you keep your wallets, you'll have a card instead of cash, and just to become a little more practical in use. And we're going to take that now, I think, to our beach area. and to other areas of the park system. But we sold just this past winter alone about $15,000 worth of gift cards.
Wow, very good.
10 of which were at the golf courses.
Dave, I'm going to ask you to give us a phone number, website address if someone wanted more information about the park.
Yeah, you can on the phone 973-326-7600. Our website is www.marsparks.net. And you can send us an email and tell us what you like about the Park Commission, would like to see at info@marsparks.net.
Dave Helmer, Executive Director of the Morris County Park Commission, thank you very much for being
Thank
with
you.
us today. Now, if you have a question about Morris County government that you would like to have answered, you can call the Morris County Freeholders Office at 973-285-6010. Don't forget to visit the county government's website at morriscountynj.gov. Once you're there, please sign up for our electronic newsletter. That will keep you up to date on the actions that are being taken by your county government. And also, please feel free to take advantage of the many social media that Morris County has embraced. I'm Joe Garifo. I want to thank you very much for being with us and invite you to tune in again next time for another edition of Focus on Morris County.